This is Sean with Gate City Foundation Drainage. We are back here at the apartments, and what we're working on today is we have this unit down here, and basically there's a breezeway under here, and it just completely floods, and there's a bunch of water coming through, and so you'll see that here in a second, but I wanted to try to orient you a little bit. So we have this whole area here that's fairly flat. Looking back toward that area right here, we have this concrete channel, and then we have two gutters right here and right here that are also dumping in that area. There's those two gutters right there, so you can see those. There's also a gutter that dumps right here, and if we take a closer look at this one, we can see we pull the pine needles back, and there's just a short piece of corrugated and a bunch of gravel right there. So that's what we've got going on here. If we go back and we look at this channel here, the channel basically comes across the back here, and then it stops, and it's grass right here, and then we have the channel back here again. So if we go back and look, let's see, here we go. So now we're looking from that channel back over, and you can see this grassy area right here. So that's kind of a rough orientation of where we're at here. So when it rains, there's a ton of water that sits in here. And in this back corner. So if you look at the wall, you can see that we've got water damage all up the wall. See all this up here? I don't know if you can see that discoloration or not. So as soon as I saw this, I asked about any plumbing issues in this unit up here. They said no. You see all this water coming across here? Look at this. Hopefully you can see all that discoloration. So where's that coming from? It's coming from up here somewhere. So to find the problem, the cause of that, we need to go up here. So this is right under there, right here, and look what we got going on here. We've got a gutter that's not hooked to anything, and we've got gravel. So what's happening here is the water is falling straight into here, going along the foundation and popping out right in that little breezeway under the stairs. So to solve this, we're going to dig the gravel out of here, put clay back in, and we are going to get this gutter, catch that gutter, and send it on around the corner there. We also have these two gutters, and they just have these pipes like laid out across. Pretty much you can see the line. It was right across the concrete here. So we're going to dump new pipes into this pipe for these two. And again, the idea of taking the gutter water out of the equation. So we're going to take that water down, and once it hits this concrete swale here, it's pretty much good to go. So we're just going to dump it in there. While we're here, we're going to catch this old gutter. Oh, we got our fitting right there. So we're just going to catch it. So we're just going to catch it like that. And we're just going to take it to the edge of the pine needles right there and probably put a little 45 on it, aiming toward the concrete. So we should be in good shape there. Oh, Harvey's up here taking a look. What do you think, Harvey? This was a big time crunch. The concrete was supposed to be here at 11. Yeah. They called last night and said it'll be there at 8. That threw my whole day off. This day was pretty hectic because I was trying to get 4 or 5 different sites prepped for arrival of the concrete truck. And so here I had sent the drainage crew over here to cut this, and that way we could patch it back and not have to mix a bunch of concrete. And so all we're doing here is we're just trying to get underneath this walkway with our new pipe. And then since the concrete truck is there, Antonio brought a small amount of concrete up in the buggy, and we're just going to fill that right in right there. And so that was a real stressful day for me because trying to get everything coordinated and ready and good to go. And luckily I brought a bunch of great people with me to help out. Pump trigger. Like, yep. There you go. That looks good. Alright, I think that got her, Lynn. Nice. Do we have any water around here?
Take it around the back of the house. There's no water in it. There's no water nowhere on this building.
Okay. That's that old corroded pipe.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So we'll get that cleared out too. Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
It wasn't
Nice.
bad. No worse.
We've seen worse.
That's right. Fucking mess. Fucking mess. That's one. Okay, let me watch. Alright, there we go.
There you go. I'd say that's it.
Yeah.
Nice work.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Run, oh, run.
Nice work. Alright, so our pipe is pretty shallow here, so we don't have a lot of dirt over top of it. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pull the pine needles and just create this as an edge of our landscaped bed. So instead of having grass, a hump, grass, pine needles, we're just going to do pine needles up here and make it look better. I just talked to one of the property guys, the maintenance guys, and he said that sounded like a great idea.
Make it look like we already figured it out right off the top of our head.
Yeah, nah,
So you gonna leave where it's at?
yeah. Here, drop just a 90 in there.
Okay.
Let's talk about it for a sec.
Okay. Roll that 90 down.
Well, with just a 90 in there, we're going way too steep here, and we're stuck on the level of the concrete, so check out what Ronald did. There's the Street 22.
One and Street 22. Roll that like that a little bit.
And that'll bring it right out
Bring
in
that
line.
on in.
I like it.
That's what we need. Okay.
That's why I carried buckets and buckets of fittings. Because,
You never know what.
Yep.
works, so.
and the right fitting is, there's no substitute for
Yeah,
the right
that little
fitting.
bit of grade or angle.
Yep. And then he can angle his 90 when he glues it wherever he wants it. This concrete ditch extends down through here, but once you get to here, it's all covered in ivy and it's all filled in with mud. So as part of this job, I'm going to clear all this out. Money shot.
Coming up.
If it goes together like it's supposed to. Can we roll this a little bit? There. That's great.
Nice.
How's that?
Yeah, that's good.
We're just finishing up these pipes. So we caught this gutter, and these are above ground just like they were before. We cut the concrete, patched it, got this gutter. I think this was a big offender here. So that one's going to be now on down the way. And I'm going to leave this board right here covering up our patch with a couple cones on it. This is that little piece of corrugated, and I just wanted to show you what's coming out of it here. So you've heard us call it corroded pipe before, and the story behind that is I had a customer one time, and she was crying about the corrugated, and she called it, she's like, that danged old corroded pipe. She's like, get rid of that danged old corroded pipe. And so now we always call it the corroded pipe. So there it is. Good stuff. These gutters were discharging right here, and you can see all this wetness in here. So we're just going to extend them out. It wasn't in the quote, but after looking at this, there's no reason we can't just do this real quick. So we're going to see how we do getting on this paint. Sweet. We are heading uphill in this direction, so extending these a little bit, that just gets the water into the ditch a little bit better. So I'm good with that. They can paint them if they want to. And Ronald and Lynn just got the rest of this ditch cleared out. So look at this. So now the water at least have a possibility of a chance of getting out of here. And the weed whacking crew is going to try to keep this cleared out from now on. So looking pretty good. There's still water underneath that breezeway. There's water up against the wall, and then there's water in the middle of the wall. And so I've been out there a few more times, and also working with the property manager and the maintenance guys, trying to figure out exactly where the water's coming from. And so the water in the center of the wall is basically there after weeks and weeks of no rain. And the plumber who's been working in this complex for a while, he's pretty sure that it's a pipe. A drainage pipe is rusted through. Apparently, all the drains have been rusting through, and so he's been replacing those for a few years. So we're trying to figure out exactly what's going on there. As far as the water up against the wall on the outside, I think I have a few ideas of where that's coming from as well. And so I wanted to talk for a few minutes about those sources and how to fix those. I also did a video assessment for the property owner who's out of state. So I want to show that to you as well. Here we are in the center of the wall here, and you can see there's a bunch of water coming across here and then flowing out. And this is another picture taken at the same time. Now, this was taken after weeks and weeks and weeks of no rain at all. So this wall back over here somewhere is completely dry. And this area here seems to be wet and has moisture all the time and water flowing out of it. Now, we think that this is probably a rusted drainage pipe. And so the resident here is going to be moving out to a different unit soon. So the plumber's going to investigate that a little bit more. But there is still some water after a rain up against the wall back over here. So let me just show you real quickly a video assessment I did trying to figure out where the source is. So this is that concrete channel that we cleaned out, and it's kind of stopped up again. But notice what we did here is we extended these two gutters into this channel. So I think they were just dumping right here. And I think what's going on is we added more water to this channel, cleaned it out. Here's our pipe. So we'll come back to that in a minute, but that channel goes underneath this walkway here. And I think the problem we're having is it turns into grass here, and then it starts back as a channel there. So I would say we can probably continue this channel across here, or we could do the same thing we did over and blow out, or maybe even add on to this concrete here and make a more waterproof barrier. So let's go down underneath and see if there's anything going on. So this is the water, I think, that is coming from the pipe. Look at how that's seeping right through the wall right there. I think that water, and that water is there if it hasn't rained for weeks. I think this water over here is coming from the front area, and it hasn't really rained that much. But there's some water right there coming from somewhere. You know, that might just be condensation. I think that's condensation right there. Oh. I wonder if that's all that is condensation. But look at all this. Look at all this condensation here. See all that? I wonder what this vent is. Back out at the front of the building here, I think we could do a couple things. I think we could concrete all this, all the way out to here, to this corner here, and catch. We'd probably have to throw some concrete under there as well. But that would basically extend the concrete chute or channel. And, you know, we could just pick some area here, maybe right here with the AC units like we did before. But we would want the new concrete to be continuous with this concrete. So you can see they've already got this chute or channel here. And so I think what's happening is our pipes, these pipes have got this gutter water out of here. So there's 1, 2, 3 gutters there. We're still getting surface water here. And I think those far gutters in the back, I think they're adding on to this over here. So I think we still have a little bit of water there. So look at that. That is still flowing there. It stopped raining a little while ago. And this one gutter here is coming out right there and heading on down the way. So let me write it up for you in a couple different options. All right, take care. I'm back out here. It's been about 3 months and finally getting a chance to check this out. So here's the one gutter we caught. This is the little channel thing that we cleaned out. and we sent a couple other gutters into that. So these two we just extended out, and it pretty much stopped raining here, but we got a little bit of water coming through there, and a tiny bit of water coming through there. So we caught this gutter as well, and we caught that gutter. Now look here, this one is leaking. So water that's landing right here doesn't really have a good way out of here. And you can see this water here. And there's our pipe that we've got. So you can see that the swale is working right here. It's just not working that well. It's pretty flat through here. So the problem is that downstairs apartment is still getting a little bit of moisture in there. So I've got a quote out to them to concrete all this and turn this into more of a waterproof barrier. But we're still waiting to hear back on that. So this has been a little bit of a tricky one. We've got a couple issues going on, and seeing that gutter right there is a big one. So I'm going to let them know our pipe's not doing anything if the water's not going in there. Here's another shot of that downstairs breezeway, and this was after a pretty good rain, and so you can see, especially in this back corner right here, there is some evidence of water sitting in there. I'm going to go ahead and end the video here. Right now we're waiting for the gutter people to finish replacing the roof and the gutters. And seeing those gutters overflowing was a big deal, because if that water is landing on that flat area, it's got really nowhere to go and get out of there. And so our pipes aren't doing any good if the gutters aren't working. So right now we're just waiting for that. We're also waiting to hear back when the resident moves out and the plumber gets over there to look at the plumbing pipes to see if that may be an issue that they're dealing with. And then finally, we're waiting for the property owner to give us the okay to do that concrete work. And they've been doing a ton of renovations and upgrades and repairs over there, and they just can't do everything at once. So we're just waiting to hear back on that. So there may be a part 2 of this video coming up. But for now, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video.